Right, good morning ladies and gents. It's Thursday morning. Now the parcel man did come, so I'm going to show you my new Reeboks. I'm happy with those. I think they're really nice, despite what Jack says about Reeboks. Old school Reeboks, for me, are the way forward. Nice, okay. So that's pair 31. My wife knows about these ones, so it's not so bad. Right, so 10 a day. I'm going to try this slightly differently. I'm going to cut this in a moment, and I'm going to put the questions up. They'll be up for a few seconds, so you can pause it, and then they'll be immediately followed by the answers. So obviously pause it and mark it. So questions will come up, pause, do the question. First one today was 5 over 6 times 3 over 10. 5 over 6 times 3 over 10. This one is actually easier than the ones we've been doing, because the other ones have been a keep, change, flip, have been a divide. Okay, where we keep, change, flip, it becomes a times. This is already a times. So all I actually need to do is 5 times 3, which is 15, over 6 times 10, which is 60. Now I can see if 15 goes into 60. Okay, 1 over 4. Okay, nice, straightforward. If you wanted, you could have divided them both by 5 and done it that way as well, but I can just see it's 15 over 60. If you did divide by 5, obviously you would have got 3 over 12, which then simplifies to 1 over 4. Baby one. What's next? 0.22 squared. So 0.22 squared. So if you're stuck on this one, hopefully you look back and you realise that squaring means timesing it by itself. So this is actually asking you to do 0.22 times 0.22. Hopefully you can see that. It's a bit faint, isn't it, on this board? It's wet. So 0.22 times 0.22. As per the previous videos, we do not like to multiply when we've got decimals. So we're going to have to take the decimal places out until they become whole. Now, the other questions, it was just we took 1 decimal place and 1 decimal place. Here, if I only take 1 out, it's still going to be a decimal, isn't it? Okay, so actually I need to move it 2 places. Okay, I move it 2 places. So I've taken 4 places out in total, so it becomes 22 times 22. Use our normal method there. Okay, so 2 times 2 is, so we've got obviously tens and units, 0, 4, 0, 4, 0, 4, 0, 4. Add up the channels, so I've got 4 in this channel, I've got an 8 in that channel, and another 4 in that channel. So I've got 484. So I've got 484. But what you take out, you have to put back in. I've taken out 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go back in. 1, 2, 3. So it always gets a little bit. I don't like moving decimal point. This is just my personal preference if I've got nothing to jump over. So at that point, I'd stop actually, and I'd write it out again. 484. And I'll just stick a few zeros on the end. Now I'm going to move it to 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. 0.0484. Just a preference of mine. I don't like jumping a decimal point. It's probably bad maths even jumping decimal points, but as you know, I'm not a proper maths teacher, so well, I suppose I am now. Actually, been doing it 6 years, but didn't train as one, did I? Here we go. Evaluate 3 to the power 4. So we had 3 squared crop up yesterday, which Kieran figured out meant 3 times 3. So 3 to the power 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously it's multiplying by itself. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 27 is 81. Okay, hopefully we're happy with those now. There's been a few of those and they're hopefully pretty straightforward. So next, an expand. Expand, we know means multiply. 4x add 3, is that right? Yep. So multiply this by this. Now I always like to do the numbers first. It keeps it simple in my simple mind. So 2 times 4 is 8. X times x is x squared. Okay, x and x isn't 2x, because that's adding them, we're timesing them. And you remember, if I'm going to times 2 by itself, that's the same as saying 2 squared. So x times x is just like saying x squared. Okay, so don't get confused with that. Quite often people do. And obviously, if I had x times x times x, that would be x cubed. X add x is just 3x. Okay, so common mistakes that, make sure you're happy with it. Right, back to the question. 2 times 4 is 8, x times x is x squared. 2 times 3 is positive 6, and I've got my x. So I go 8x squared adds 6. I need to dry it each time, otherwise my pen doesn't work. What's next? 18 kilometers per hour. And it wants it in meters per second, into meters per second. So 18 kilometers per hour into meters per second. So I'm going to change my kilometers into meters. And it's obviously going to be 18 times 1,000. That's 18,000. Always kind of stop at each stage of these, I do, and ask yourself, what have I just done? Well, I've just turned my kilometres into metres. So at the moment, I've just worked out 18,000 metres per hour. I don't want per hour, I want per second. So I need to turn this into minutes and then into seconds. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 60. So 18,000 divided by 60. Okay, what's that going to be? 300. So I've now got 300 meters per minute into seconds, divided by 60 again. So 300 divided by 60 is 5. So I've got 5 meters per second. I said this every single time. This is the trickiest question on here. People really do get stuck with it. So if you're still not happy, even by, I'm going to do one more week of these. I always say week. I'm going to do one more of these, of this 10, and I'm going to move on to a different set. But if you're still not happy with that, don't worry. I've got lots of students who are kind of almost never completely happy. It's just about kind of practice, and I mean, for me, that's kind of common sense maths. You know, converting units and things. You get better at that as you get older, so don't worry about it. What's next? 35%. 35% of, is it? £201. Again, let's be methodical and logical about this. Let's break 35% down into manageable chunks. So I know 35% I can split up to 10%, 10%, and 10%. That's 30. I need 5 more, so I'm going to have 5% as well. So we obviously know to find 10%, you move 1 decimal point. So 10% is going to be £20 and 10 pence. £20 and 10 pence. 5% is half of whatever 10% is. So half of 10% is going to be, well, again, break it down. Half of £20 is £10. Half of 10 pence is 5 pence. You notice I've tried to kind of line everything up to make the last stage even more straightforward. So 0, 0, 0 and 5. 1, 1 and 1, so that's 3 zeros, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. £70, 35. Happy with that? Okay, what's next? 4x add 5 equals 35 minus x. So this is a 3-step solving equation. First step, hopefully you got written in green from yesterday or the day before that, is get rid of the smallest x. Minus x is smaller than the 4x, so I need to get rid of the minus x. Make sure I've got the question written down properly, because I have. So to get rid of minus x, I add x. And what I do to one side, got no one with me today, so I've got to finish it myself. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm going to add x to both sides. 4x add x is 5x. Can't add x's to normal numbers, that just stays as a 5. I've got 35 minus x add x. So at minus x add x gets me to 0, so it disappears. Now I've got a two-step solving equation. 5x add 5 equals 35. How do I need to get the x's by themselves. I need to get rid of this little Klingon here. So how do you get rid of it? I do the opposite. At the moment it's adding 5, so I'm minus 5 to get rid of it. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. So it leaves me with 5x equals 30. Last step, I divide by the number of x's. If these were y's or p's or q's, whatever letter, you always divide by the number of the x's, p's or q's, whatever it is there, y's, whatever. So I'm going to divide by 5. Divide by 5, x equals 6. To make x the subject of the formula y equals x over a. Y equals x. Perfect. So make the subject. We've been through this one a couple of times, haven't we? Obviously, you need to get the x by itself. Make x the subject. I want x by itself. So ask yourself the question: what is happening to x? At the moment, x is being divided by a. Next question: what's the opposite of divide by a? Times by a. Times by a. Times by a. And as you notice, what I do to one side, I do to the other. And obviously, in algebra, when we multiply things, we just put them next to each other. You don't write a times y, it just becomes ay. Just like you wouldn't write 3 times x, you'd write 3x, wouldn't you? Okay? So you just put it next to each other, because we know that always means the multiply operation. So you've got ay equals x. Or you put x equals ay, whichever way around, doesn't matter. Find the nth term of the sequence, minus 10, minus 5, what do I minus 5, 0 and 5. So we want n and then a new first number. So what do we part next to the n? And if you're unsure, you should look back. You should have all this written in green. So what's happening? Minus 10 to minus 5. I'm at minus 10, moving up the number line, okay, moving up the number line towards 0. So it means I'm adding 5. Add 5, add 5. And as I said yesterday, it's easy to spot that here, isn't it? 0 to 5 means add 5. Okay, so the rule goes next to the n. So it is 5n. And this part is a new first number. So something, it's a few different ways of figuring this. Something add 5 is minus 10, or if it's add 5 that way, it's going to be minus 5 this way. So you're at minus 10, you're minusing 5, it's going to be minus 15. Okay, you need to follow the same rule, minus 15. So you've got 5n minus 15. Okay, that's the last one. So work out 2 times 3 squared. Divided by 105. Okay, so this is my bid mass. Okay, and I always work down. So, have I got a bracket? Yes, I have. So I need to do what's in the brackets first. So let's do this bracket, and you follow the rules of bid mass inside the bracket as well. So once inside the bracket, I need to do the indice first. Okay, so let's do the indice first. 2 times 3 squared, which is 9. Divided by 1, add 5. Do you notice I just do one part, then I rewrite it, okay, rather than trying to store it all in my head. It could all go anywhere. So now, inside my bracket, I've got divide and multiply. Yeah, I've got some multiplies. So I'm going to do 2 times 9, which is 18, divided by 1 add 5, which is 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Okay, so hopefully you got pretty good at those now. I'm going to do the full week. Okay, so I'm going to do the last one of these tomorrow. Then on Monday I'll start new ones. I don't know whether to go harder or easier. Leave a comment and I'll see what you guys think. But hopefully parents are able to use this to help their children, so help them, to understand it. obviously I've only been teaching maths for 5 or 6 years. I need to understand things in the most basic terms, the most basic sense, you know, kind of step by step. So hopefully that's helping you guys too. And remember, parents, if you do watch this, never tell your kids you're not good at maths, okay? 'Cause it does rub off on them. A number of times I've been in parents' evening, the parents jovially, albeit, they say, oh, I'm never been good at maths. Like, it's okay. I don't believe that. I believe every single student can be good at maths. So, you know, fill them with confidence. Being good at maths actually is about confidence. It's about the basics. I always like to say maths is like a pyramid. If we can get a solid foundation here, okay, then we can build and build and build and build and build. So this is all about getting a solid foundation. Have a good weekend.